first step on Nikita's road to recovery is to understand the underlying reasons behind her troublesome eating. Felix has invited her to join him so he can find out why her childhood fussiness with food became a full-blown phobia in adulthood.
Can we just start by you telling me a little bit about how your eating behaviour has been a problem for you in your life?
I've always been fussy from as far back as I can remember. But I think I've just got worse as I've got older because the older I get, then the less I've been trying stuff. So
the foods you like to eat, burgers, beans, sausages, there's something about those foods that makes them acceptable to you and something about all other foods that doesn't. And with a food you don't...
It's safe.
It's safe.
Because I know what I'm getting. I look at food and, like, whatever Matthew eats and I think, yeah, it looks really nice, but it's just I can't bring myself to put it in my mouth. People say, try this, I can feel myself, like, panicking inside, and then I think I've built myself up that I'm that anxious before I get it even into my mouth.
Right.
I've lost the battle before I've even begun.
Has anything else unusual happened in your life that's a source of stress that could make this worse?
There was a time when I got attacked. I was 15. I was going to stay at my friend's and there were two girls and they said that they needed to take the temper out on somebody. And unfortunately that was me, so as I was walking over with my friend, they dragged me to the floor and one of them was straddled across me and said, get me something to kill her with because she doesn't know who we are. So they came back with a brick and started smashing it in my face and dropping it on my face and asking...
Oh, hold it for a sec. Just take a deep breath for a sec. Just make your mind blank and just take that out of your mind for a sec. Just imagine all that source, knowing it's in the past now, just imagine just draining out of your feet. Because you realise now that it's behind you and you're safe.
I do. I just don't tend to talk about it.
Sure. Always as a psychologist, if I hear a life-threatening incident, the kind of trauma warning bells come up and, you know, it's not exactly rocket science. It's some kind of mistrust that you'll be safe with food. Does that?
It does make sense. To be honest, I don't trust anything or anyone anymore.
Right. Does it hold you back from your career, what you'd like to do in any way, or?
Well, I work in an office at the moment, but when I was younger, all I wanted to do was be a dancer or a singer, so... And now I'm doing something that's the complete opposite. I don't know where I'm supposed to be going in my life. I feel like I don't fit anywhere at the moment.
Gosh. Given what Nikita experienced with that intense assault when she was 15, she's actually coped very well. I mean, some people develop agoraphobia. They're afraid to leave their houses and they have all sorts of other fears. So she's done surprisingly well, but I still think this would have impacted on her eating behaviour as well then, just made her more nervous about the unknown.
The things I spoke to Felix about, I've kind of mentioned in the past, but I've never really spoken about them in detail. Sometimes it's quite hard to deal with and it's easier to talk to a stranger than it is to your own family and friends.
He wants to delve into her past and find out where her eating problems first began.
So, Vicky, can you tell me a little bit about how your diet is a problem for you in your life?
Well, the main problem I have with it is the fact that I can't go out for a meal. I don't have dinner with my family. I can't go abroad because I won't like the food. Every time there's any family get-togethers, then I've always got to be sort of segregated off and to get the things that I like.
That sounds really constraining, doesn't it?
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. But it is for everybody who be around me. To be perfectly honest.
So it's tough on you and tough on others as well?
Yeah.
Okay, see. So it makes sense then just avoid it if it's a negative experience?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
I have been told that when my parents went away on holiday, I was staying with my nan and I wouldn't eat at all. And then apparently when they come back, my dad asked me if I wanted some food and then I'd just start eating. And if he was away, apparently I'd just lie on the sofa and cry, wouldn't do anything until I could speak to him on the phone. But I've pretty much got to have my own way about nearly everything.
What would happen if you didn't get your own way?
I'd be so angry.
Because what would it mean to you?
Because I wouldn't like, it wouldn't have been my decision. Like, it's not about that, it's that I like what I like.
Right.
And if somebody changes that, it would be something that would just forever annoy me.
When her father was absent, Vicky revealed she would actually go on hunger strikes. That's exactly the time when she started trying to really control her food. And I think unless Vicky's really willing to look at some of those underlying childhood issues, she's unlikely to ever embrace eating new foods.
The root of Tom's eating problem remains a mystery to his family. Today, Felix will be doing some psychological digging to see what secrets his past might hold.
What's your earliest possible memory with regards to eating this way?
I don't ever remember eating anything different. It's always been milk and then chips, baked beans. I don't remember eating baby food ever.
And your mum can't shed any light on it? She never said once you had a severe reaction or you threw up? Or...
No, there's no reaction. She just said it was difficult to move me through the different food.
And there's nothing else that you can think, oh, well, you see, I won't like their food, I can't like it because of some other kind of worry or tension around it. OK?
I don't know what it is that stops me.
All right.
But I know that when food does come out, I dismiss it straight away.
Right. And just tell me a little bit about how your family have sort of reacted to you, historically. So at some point they thought you're a young kid, you grow out of it.
I think I'm mum's only boy. And I think that's quite obvious sometimes.
How?
Because she lets me get away with murder.
Does she?
Well, yeah.
With Tom drawing blanks around his eating memories, Felix moves on to football. Age 13, Tom achieved every boy's dream when he was scouted by professional football club Crystal Palace. However, a knee problem at 16 forced him to take time out. A year later, Tom was able to return to football, but he chose to join a local club with friends where he felt more comfortable.
When did you start playing football again?
I think I was 17 and a half, about 17.
So you only stopped for a year and...
Year and a bit, yeah.
Weren't they interested in you trying again when you
No, because I don't think I would have been good enough then. And also...
how do you know that?
Well, I would have missed quite a bit of important time out, but I didn't think I personally would have been good enough. And I was enjoying it where I was, I suppose, with my friends.
So no external authority told you, sorry, you're past it, you've missed that.
No. I don't think I believed in myself anymore. And I think I was maybe worried about failing again.
Again, compared to what?
Not doing it the first time round.
For that kind of fear, that fear needs to be strong to stop you doing a dream when you had a real chance to do it. And what is that fear? You said fear of failure? Is it that? Is it something else?
I don't know. Maybe I accepted it and just thought, this is good enough for me where I am now. I don't know.
This is good enough for me where I am now. It's a bit like food. Well, I don't really know.
Yeah, maybe,
I could have better, but this is good enough for me.
Yeah, maybe I didn't think about how much better it could be again.
Yeah.
Maybe I just went, I'm enjoying this, let's just keep enjoying this.
For my part, there's still quite a lot of unanswered questions.
Yeah.
So I look forward to us working together again and fitting more pieces of this puzzle.
Yeah, sure.
OK. Tom's problems with food seem to have stemmed from fairly typical childhood fussy eating behaviour. But now as an adult, he's stuck in these childhood patterns and is using food as a way of avoiding his adult insecurities and fears. So I need to look at the origins of Tom's fears and try to find more clues as to how his eating problem started.
Jamie may have a deeper understanding of just how unhealthy his beloved brown sauce is, but psychologist Felix wants to try and understand exactly why he has this saucy obsession in the first place.
Just tell me, Jamie, what's your earliest memory of sticking to this very rigid kind of diet?
There's never been a time when I can consciously remember eating outside of the diet.
OK, so it's from the word go for you.
Yeah.
So when you're growing up, mum and dad were in the picture. So when you think of mum, what are the first three things that come to mind?
Just happiness, comfortableness, and love, really.
And the first three adjectives when you think of dad?
Dad is... I struggle to think of anything when I think of my dad, because I try to kind of block him out for the last 3-4 years.
What's been happening in your life that's led to this wanting to block dad out?
Just because as a child it wasn't very pleasant with him there. Growing up, I never felt supported, I never felt looked after or nurtured in any way. When I consciously think back to that time, it's not really good memories that I've got. you know, and like if I'm trying to look through my eyes as a child, I can never remember like a happy moment with him. The only image I can remember and recollect is me sat there with a meal in front of us and my dad saying, right, you need to eat that. If you don't eat that, you're getting it for your supper. If you don't have it for your supper, you'll have it the next day for breakfast, lunch, and so on until you eat it. That's the only vision I've got of before I was 10.
And what did you do?
I didn't eat it.
You didn't eat it?
It just provoked another argument where my mum was trying to protect us and like she used to feed us under the table. She just used to give us a bar of chocolate or something just so I'd have something in my system.
Right.
Otherwise, I'd have gone hungry.
So if there's tension with Dad, then you may have linked those unpleasant feelings of trying to be controlled to do something with the food he was trying to make you eat, you know? I think it is linked. And I'd like to just, you know, work on that a little bit, just to know how we can unlink it. So food just becomes food again. You said you rebelled a little bit against Dad, and often when I hear that with people I work with, they often have sort of anti-authority kind of behaviours and stuff.
I did have such a problem with authority. You know, I just turn around and start a fight or...
Okay, a lot of anger there, yeah? Mm-hmm. All right, Jamie, thanks very much for that.
Thank you.
I think Jamie's food problem is firmly rooted in his childhood, and especially in his estranged relationship with his dad. Jamie has a lot of underlying anger about what happened, and that's what we really need to focus on if we want Jamie to move on with his eating.
Dave may be off the chips for now, but in order to keep up the progress, psychologist Felix needs to understand the root of his eating problems.
You've been eating mainly chips for most of your life.
Yeah.
And when did this start for you?
I can't just remember a time when I wasn't. I can remember times when I was really, really little eating, but like as far as I can remember back, I've pretty much had chips like all the time.
Because what I usually find is, let's say, in the course of normal development, we develop an eating pattern. Mm-hmm. So at some point, this normal progress just got derailed somehow.
Yeah.
And I'm really curious about what happened at that point that just switched you to this new track.
I remember my dad used to cook me like Sunday lunches, and I remember like growing up really not enjoying Sunday lunches. Like I didn't enjoy the meat, I didn't enjoy any of the vegetables. He was always one of these people that just said, like, if you don't have it now, you'll have it for your tea, and if you don't have it for your tea, you'll have it for your breakfast. And I remember always hating Sunday dinners because I would always be the one left on the table with a plate full of meat and carrots and vegetables and stuff that I really didn't want to eat.
Our brain learns by association. If your brain is associating feelings of being powerless or being helpless or being sort of coerced or bullied with certain foods, you're going to build up a reaction to that, sort of aversion to that. So what are the good things, the positives about chips that you like to carry over into your other eating habits?
One of the things that I really loved when I was growing up was my mum used to make home-cooked chips, and I used to love them. They were, like, amazing. Special treat, like birthdays, Christmas sort of thing. I just sort of want to continue that sort of feeling where I'm actually happy to eat a food that I'm excited about.
At the moment, it sounds like it's a little bit black or white. Vegetables and meat are associated with your dad trying to coerce you or bully you into eating it, and these lovely homemade cooked chips you associate with being welcoming and love. So, I mean, the strange thing is, David, this is not really about the food. This is about the emotions associated to the food. If your dad sat you there saying you're going to eat your chips until they're all finished, you say,
it would have been the other way around.
The other way around, exactly. So it's really about breaking that connection.
Before Felix can begin his work, he wants to uncover what lies at the root of Katie's eating problems.
Katie, what's your understanding of what's going on here with these eating and drinking habits?
I can't remember when it sort of first became a problem. I can just remember never really being interested at all in food. You know, sort of being offered things and just thinking, well, no, I don't like that because I've not had it before. It's not safe. It's not what I'm used to. You know, it's either I don't like the look of it, the smell of it. Just there's something about nearly everything that I just think, I just don't like it.
What I'd like you to tell me a little bit more about is think back in the past to a really typical scenario around the dinner table.
Mum would make the dinner. We'd all stay out of the kitchen. She'd usually have made different meals.
Right.
Like she'd make me something separate. I don't really remember that much drama about it, to be honest.
Okay.
I can remember the odd times when it was, you know, sit there and eat that. I would have just, you know, plainly refused and sat there and cried about it. And if I didn't want to eat something, I wasn't going to.
But you said that if they did pressurise you, you'd cry quite easily and then they'd back off? So it sounds like your parents' strategy was to not nag you, but actually what it did in your case is just allow you to keep doing the same behaviour. Let's just put aside the diet and the eating for a moment and tell me who you are as a person.
My best friend would probably say that I'm quite confident. I've got a bit of a dare inside.
So you're a real daredevil?
Yeah, with most things.
Most
I'll
things.
sort of try anything, but just not food-related.
Okay. What specifically prevents you from trying new foods?
I've got all the good intention of doing it, and I get it up to my mouth, and then it's like I can't physically do it. And it's just embarrassing to sort of have everybody thinking that you know, acting like a child, or I just think people will just think I'm a bit stupid.
Okay. Now, this sounds a little bit odd, but what's the problem with people thinking you're a little bit stupid?
I don't want people to think I'm stupid.
Well, I know it sounds a bit odd, I'm going to ask you again. Because if they did think you're a little bit stupid, what would that mean to you?
It would upset me that, you know, friends and family and things and people, you know, have that opinion of me. I would rather everybody just think I was fine and normal and just see the sort of happier side of me all the time.
With Katie, her problems seem to be twofold. To avoid tantrums, her parents never really pushed her, so her eating patterns have been maintained into adulthood. Then there's her fear of looking stupid when trying new foods, and this is also blocking her progress, and definitely something I'd like to explore with her further.
With Aaron still struggling to get his head around his homework task, Felix wants to uncover what lies at the root of his eating problems.
Where do you feel this developed, this idea of you can only eat certain foods and then nothing else?
I think I've been like it ever since I was born.
Right. So up to what age were you still just drinking formula milk?
Probably about the age of 6.
Right, wow. That is obviously a long time.
Yeah, they said they went to the doctor about it. Why am I still on milk?
Right.
And the doctor just said, oh, he'll grow out of it eventually. And I think they just took that on board, and then that was the big mistake.
OK. When you think of Dad, what are the first 3 adjectives that come to mind?
I see him as a bit clumsy and a bit foolish, I think.
And when you think of Mum?
She's a bit over-caring.
How is she over-caring?
Well, she just kind of hassles me all the time about it. What have you eaten? What have you had today? What are you going to eat later? And I just get, you know, tired of it.
So the way to not help you is to nag you, right? As soon as someone nags you, you go the other way and you resist.
Yeah, I feel pressured about it.
So from an early age, you got your way with food and then eating on your own. And obviously that's going to ruin the closeness of the family. You're not eating around meal times and chatting and conversing. And also you wouldn't necessarily see your parents as parents as leaders. It's more like you seem to call the shots.
In a way, yeah.
In a way. OK.
I don't think I really am that close to any of my family.
Right. And that seems to be partly out of choice, does it?
I suppose so. It just seems awkward to try and step up the communication.
Do you have any ideas about why that might be?
I think a lot of it had to do with the fact that I felt like they were hassling me a lot about my eating and stuff.
All right.
I just kept, you know, shouting at them for it and stuff.
Because, you know, it seems unusual just that most of us seek some kind of closeness, at least until we're teenagers, then we want to break away. So for it to happen at such a young age, it's kind of interesting. It's intriguing for me. Aaron seems to be putting up barriers with his family in much the same way he does with his food. So in order for him to progress and for me to help him overcome these barriers, I need to work with him to discover further what triggered these food problems in the first place.
Yeah, I really wasn't sure why Felix was asking me all these questions about my family. You know, I don't think it made much sense, and I don't think it was very relevant, and I'm not really sure what to make of that session as a whole.
His parents may not know what caused his freaky eating, but with a little digging, Felix hopes he can uncover the root of Richard's meat addiction.
This started for you somewhere around age 3?
Yeah.
Right. And has anyone told you? Did your mother tell you what was happening at age 3? That
I can't think of anything. Okay.
What needs to happen in order that you trust certain foods?
I really don't know. I just, I know it's kind of, there's a fit. I mean, texture, I always worry about the texture of things more than anything else.
And certain foods, if you touch them, you'd have to wash your hands, is that right?
Yeah.
Which foods are those?
Generally things that I don't like, basically. So sort of fruit and vegetables.
Right.
You know, at the very least, I have to kind of like do that, sort of wipe my hands.
This is the kind of behaviour you do if you touch something dangerous,
Right.
which could give you a disease, some kind of germs, right?
Yeah.
It's just being inappropriately applied to something that's not actually dangerous. Well, here's a question just completely randomly. What's your deepest fear?
Pain.
Pain?
Yeah.
What kind of pain?
Agonising pain, sort of pain that I've experienced most of my life, yeah. I had scans when I was a child and they said I had IBS, irritable bowel syndrome.
That's a physical pain.
You can't think of anything else when you've got it. You know, it's better now than it used to be.
And when was the first time you were aware of that pain?
I don't ever remember not having it.
What's interesting for that is, if you're having this pain in the stomach area, your unconscious mind may be associating that pain perhaps with food. So already it may set up a sensitivity of, hey, watch what I'm eating here, because something might be causing me some kind of pain.
Yeah.
I've got to really monitor what goes in my mouth. That was a really useful session with Richard. If he was in that much pain as a child, it's no wonder he restricted what he put in his mouth. And now that he hopefully understands the origins of his fears, I can begin to help him move on.
I suppose I never really thought of it that way, but it actually makes a lot of sense. Because I suppose if it kind of like trying to restricting what I ate could kind of be my way of trying to control the pain unsuccessfully, but I suppose that was the idea.